and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to a Toffee Ale. Yeah, this certainly isn't the first time someone's tried to do something like this, but it is the first time that I know of that it's been done by a discount German supermarket. This is an Aldi special. They released this not that long ago, I don't believe, although I could be well off. But the first time I saw it was a few weeks back, at the same time they released their plum porter, which was definitely a knockoff of Titanic's plum porter. I have reviewed that, but I did it on Rasco and Disco show on Instagram a few weeks back, so you can go and dig that one out if you want to know what that was like. But well, I'll give you a hint, it's no patch on the original. Now, this doesn't have a direct comparison as such, but there is a sticky toffee pudding ale that was originally by Wells, who then got bought out by someone. I'm not really sure who makes it anymore, but anyway, I was at least a big fan of it. I'm not sure if it's still any good or not. So it'll be interesting to see how this stacks up. It's been a long time since I've had that, what I'm going to coin the original, but it's not quite the same description, so I think they've got a bit more room to play with here. But yeah, Toffee Ale. I can see on the back that it is 4.8%, it's 500ml bottle, and it says beer with flavourings. I'm not sure what's going on with the lighting in here. Just the lighting's not actually changed, just the camera keeps thinking I'm going much darker. Is that better? Hello? Anyone there? Right. So we'll give this a go. Quick look at the bottle for you, we'll get straight into it. Fairly trad style labelling, I think you'll agree. Nice chunks of toffee on there. Harper's Brewing Co. I am going to break my rule and have a look at the back of the bottle now, but not for a description. I want to see if it says where it was produced. It doesn't. It just says specially produced for Aldi Stores in Warwickshire or in Kildare, Ireland. So we'll see if we can find out in a bit who actually makes this, but for now, let's get it open. Going into my hobgoblin glass, this one. It's kind of a trad-ish with a bit of a flare, so seems like an appropriate vessel for it. And given how it's looking, I have to say, I think I made the right call. Not a bad looking beer, that has to be said. Getting a few sweet notes from a distance, but nothing more than that. In the glass then, weirdly, actually doesn't look all that different to Hobgoblin. It's slightly lighter, not sure it's coming across on camera, but it is more golden, lighter ruby than a dark ruby. It's got a nice, pretty tight, slightly off-white foam head on it. You can smell a lot of sweetness now, to be honest, even at a distance. But visually, I'm quite surprised it's passing all the tests. The body looks, I mean, it's not thick, but doesn't look ridiculously bad either. Right then, aromas. I mean, let's be real, this isn't, what should we say, naturally produced to smell and probably taste the way it's going to. It's heaps of fakery, basically. But fakery doesn't always smell bad. It actually smells nice and sweet and like toffee. Don't put your nose in it. It's not really giving a whole great deal away other than big sweet toffee notes, toffee, caramel. There's a slight burnt cinder toffee again in there. I say it for a lot of beers. There's obviously something that just gives off that particular flavour. It'll be a malt of some description. Right, let's get into it. Cheers. That's interesting. It's not immediately disappointing, which I know sounds harsh, but actually, well, I've got to fess up, I really like Aldi. I don't really like Aldi's beer, right? It just tends to be a bit eh. There's a few gems, but on the whole, it tends to be pretty poor. However, yes, it's an artificially sweetened, very autumnal beer, but I've had worse. I've had worse. It's really not that bad. It's sweet, but actually there's some proper beer bitterness in the back of that as well. It's not, yeah, it actually, it tastes a bit like a very sweetened best bitter. It's quite odd. It's certainly not the most refined, and the head is absolutely left us, but it's not horrific, is what I can really say. It's It's not a patch on the original, but I'm not really sure it's trying to be. It's interesting, that for sure. If you like sweeter beer styles, you happen to be in Aldi and it's at a price that you think you don't really care if you hate it, it's worth a go. It's worth a go. Right then, top to bottom taste test so you know exactly what I'm talking about. Initially, tiny bit bitter, tiny bit carbonated on the front of the tongue. That moves into pretty nondescript sweetness across the middle of the tongue, to be honest. It turns pretty sweet pretty quick, but you don't get an awful lot from it. Next phase, the bitterness really opens up. That mid to back of the tongue, you're getting a lot of, well, this is proper beer, to be honest. Like it's really quite bitter. I'm interested to know what the IBUs are on this. I don't think it's going to tell us, but for a beer that should be really sweet, yeah, there's definitely some bitterness in there. And then finally, on the swallow, big crush of flavour. It's quite abrupt, a bit jarring as you swallow it, but then the aftertaste is where it all really comes in. You get heaps of toffee, a lot of vanilla, and it's not an unpleasant flavour, and it does keep you wanting to go back for more. The body actually is a bit thinner than I would have hoped, and the mouthfeel is a bit crashy. It's not great, but like I said, I've had worse. It's one of those weird ones. I've probably been a lot harsher about much better beers, and I'm probably being overly nice about this, even though it's not particularly brilliant, but I don't know, something about it. If you bought a pint of it in a pub, and this is always a litmus test, if someone dropped a pint down in front of you, they bought it for you, you didn't really know what it was, you drink it and you'd probably drink the pint and go, that was alright. Actually, on this one you might have another, you might do, or you might have something else and then come back to it for one. It's nearly moreish and nearly good enough, but not quite, and that's really the benchmark, isn't it? Some of you will absolutely love this, some of you will think it's absolutely awful. Let's be upfront, it's sweet and fakery in beer, but the beer is real, so food for thought. Right, let's take a look at the bottle. So Harper's Brewing Co. Proudly brewed in Britain. Don't know who Harper's are, I'm going to assume they're a fake trading name for Aldi. Toffee Ale, 4.8%, 500ml bottle. As I said before, beer with flavouring. There's 203 calories for this bottle. It's not great, but actually there's far worse out there, so it's not horrendous. Know your limits, drink responsibly. 2.4 UK units in this bottle. All the normal stuff really, there's not really a great deal else on it. I'm going to see if I can find out who actually makes this. 1 second. Okay, so I'm on Untapped and it has a 3 and a bit beer match rating, or whatever their rating system is. 3.42, which to be honest is not that bad for Untapped actually. They're normally pretty harsh, so this is not too bad at all. A lot of people really liking it, so I'm obviously not the only one that thinks it's not horrendous, but will you tell me who makes it? Toffee flavour winter beer is all it says about it. So as yet, it would appear we're going to be left in the dark. We just don't know who this is. An awful lot of reviews, it has to be said. Having a quick look elsewhere, it looks like this has been around for years, so or at least a couple of years. So it's certainly not new. And I've just seen Harper's Toffee Ale, Marsden's PLC. So quite ironically, it could actually have been even brewed in the same brewery to which the glass that it sits in belongs. So it is what it is. That's not a surprise either, because the plum porter was also by Marsden. So yeah, no surprises all around really. It has that semi-signature Marsden's thing where it's not a taste, it's not a feeling, it's just an idea that this beer isn't terrible, but it's probably been made a bit cheap, is probably the best I can say. There you have it. Have you tried it? Let me know, and I think we'll end it there. So as always, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. If you haven't already, subscribe if you will be so kind, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.